Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news, all right, folks. This is one of those rumors that could shake up the entire AFC North, and as Steelers fans, we need to pay close attention. The whispers are swirling about a potential blockbuster trade involving Derrick Henry, the human freight train, possibly heading from the Baltimore Ravens to our beloved Steelers. Now I know what you're thinking. How could this be? Derrick Henry, a titan, a symbol of power and brutality in the run game, now linked to a division rival. Yeah, it sounds crazy, but when you look at the bigger picture, it might make sense for both sides, especially with the Ravens in a bit of a rebuild mode. Sources are floating the idea that the Ravens, currently sitting at 6-5 and tied in the AFC North with the Steelers, are considering dealing Derrick Henry. The logic. The Ravens' defense, which has been pretty solid with only 7 points allowed per game, and their overall team record makes them think about their next moves. They're focusing on their cap space, which is around $10 million, and the pending Lamar Jackson extension, which is a priority. To free up some cash, the Ravens might be willing to part ways with Henry, a player who, despite his age, remains one of the most dominant power backs in the league. Henry, drafted back in 2016, has amassed over 500 rushing yards and 102 rushing touchdowns in his career. He's a true beast on the field, averaging 4.8 yards per carry with an incredible ability to break tackles, around 85 broken tackles per year, and a PFF grade of 89. For his yards after contact, YAC average is a staggering 5.2 yards per attempt, which tells you how much of a nightmare he is for defenses trying to bring him down. In 2025, despite missing some minor time, he still ran the ball 187 times for 871 yards and 9 touchdowns, averaging nearly 80 yards per game. His power and consistency make him a game changer, especially in the cold weather where his running style thrives. Now, why would Baltimore consider trading him? Well, they're in a bit of a rebuild, focusing on rebuilding their offensive line, which has been a point of concern, especially with the ongoing need to protect Lamar Jackson and establish a more balanced attack. The Ravens might be culling their roster to optimize their cap space and roster flexibility. They're also looking to acquire wide receivers and defensive backs, and shedding some cap hits could help facilitate those moves. Although they're losing a true game wrecker in Henry, they might see this as a strategic move to prioritize their future, especially if they believe they can replace his production with other pieces or draft picks. But what does this mean for us here in Pittsburgh? Well, a trade like this would be a game changer. Derrick Henry in black and gold. That's a nightmare for defenses. Imagine him alongside Najee Harris, forming a duo that could run roughshod over defenses, more than 200 total yards combined with at least 12 rushing touchdowns. Harris, already a solid back, would see his workload and production skyrocket, and the presence of Henry would open up so many more opportunities for our offense. Plus, defenders trying to stop both of them would be forced into stacking the box even more, which could create mismatches in the passing game, especially in the red zone. The Steelers have always been about that physical, smash-mouth football, and adding a player like Henry would elevate that identity to another level. Think about the impact on our offensive efficiency. Last season, our run game was a bit inconsistent, but with Henry in the fold, we could see a boost of around 15% in EPA, expected points added on the ground, and defenses would have to be much more cautious. It's not just about running the ball. It's about establishing dominance physically, wearing down opponents, and controlling the game clock, something we've been striving for since the days of Jerome Betty's. Now, Henry could be the centerpiece of a new era of Steelers football, one rooted in power and resilience. And let's not forget the effect on the defense. Opposing offenses would be forced to throw more resources into stopping the run, making it easier for our defense to pin their ears back and rush the passer. It could lead to fewer big plays allowed and more turnovers. Plus, with a stronger run game, our offensive line and quarterback, whether it's Kenny Pickett or another future QB, would have more confidence and time to execute their plays. This kind of upgrade could be what pushes us over the edge into serious Super Bowl contention, especially considering the current odds. initially at plus 1,200, but possibly dropping to plus 750 if this move materializes, similar to what the 49ers experienced after acquiring McCaffrey. Looking at the bigger picture, this trade could redefine the AFC North. The Ravens, perhaps trying to emulate the success of teams like the 49ers or even the Chiefs, are prioritizing rebuilding their offensive line and adding explosive playmakers. But as many experts point out, losing Henry might cost them some of that smash-mouth identity that made their run game so feared. The Ravens' offensive efficiency could drop from around 4 or 5 yards per carry to closer to 3-5 if they lose that power back. It's a calculated risk for them, but one they might be willing to take if it means freeing cap space and reshaping their roster. Now, for us Steelers fans, this potential move is exciting because it signals a shift. The AFC North is already competitive, with teams like the Bengals and Browns trying to find their footing, but adding Derrick Henry to our roster could give us an edge that makes us a favorite to win the division again. Harris and Henry could form a thunder and lightning combo that defenses won't be able to handle, especially in cold weather and playoff conditions. It's about building a team that's tough, physical, and ready to dominate for years to come. Furthermore, the draft implications are interesting. With the Ravens potentially trading away Henry, they could target a different position in the upcoming draft, or they could use the draft picks they acquire to bolster their secondary or offensive line. For us, this could mean that the Steelers might have an easier route to selecting a key player in the early rounds, knowing that the division might be shifting in our favor. Plus, with the Steelers, focus on building a balanced attack. Adding a premium back like Henry would complement Najee Harris perfectly, giving us 2 dynamic runners capable of grinding down defenses and setting up play-action passes. In terms of playoff impact, having Derrick Henry could be the X-factor that elevates our chances significantly. Playoff football demands physicality, and Henry's brutal running style is built for the postseason. His ability to control the clock and wear down opponents could be the difference-maker in close games. The odds are already looking favorable, with sportsbooks like DraftKings showing a 40% boost in the value of elite running backs like Henry and Harris combined, and the Steelers being listed at plus 500 against teams like the Rams. This isn't just about a player. It's about transforming our entire approach and reestablishing ourselves as the AFC North's dominant force. So as fans, we need to keep a close eye on this situation. Potential trade could happen any day now, and if it does, it's going to be one of those moves that fans will talk about for years. It's a bold strategy, but then again, the Steelers have always been about resilience and never backing down from a challenge. Derrick Henry in Steelers black and gold? That's a vision of dominance, a statement to the league that we're ready to reclaim our throne and push for another Super Bowl run. And I tell you what, if this move happens, it'll send shockwaves through the AFC. The Ravens. They might be trying to rebuild, but with Henry gone, their identity could be compromised. Meanwhile, the Steelers will be positioning themselves as serious contenders, with a run game that most teams simply can't handle. It's about building a legacy, about showing that the black and gold still rule the field, and about making sure that we're not just participants but champions once again. The AFC North is heating up, and this could be the move that turns the tide in our favor, making us the team everyone fears come playoff time. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Looking ahead, the Steelers' front office has always been strategic, and adding a player of Henry's caliber fits right into their pattern of aggressive moves and building for the future. Whether it's through draft picks or free agency, they're always looking to upgrade, and if the opportunity to bring Henry here arises, it's hard to imagine they'd pass it up. Imagine the impact on the locker room, the confidence boost, the energy that a player like Henry could bring. The Steelers are known for their grit and resilience, and Henry's style embodies that perfectly. His presence on the field would not only energize the offense, but also send a message to every team in the league. We're here to win, and we're not backing down from anyone. In the end, whether this trade happens or not, it highlights the ongoing evolution of the AFC North. The division is no longer just about who's got the best quarterback. It's about physical dominance, strategic moves, and resilience. The Steelers, with their rich history of tough, disciplined football, are always in the mix. And if they do manage to land Derrick Henry, well, then we're talking about a whole new level of playoff and Super Bowl contention. The road to Super Bowl LXI just got even more interesting, and Steelers fans, you better be ready for what's coming because it's going to be one heck of a ride. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Steelers. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news.